Colin Steen here. I'm the CEO of Legacy Agripartners. We are a seed company across the upper Midwest. We've got Legacy Seeds in Wisconsin and Tri-Cal Superior Forages down in Vernon, Texas, and DF Seeds in Dansville, Michigan. And I'm here with Janna Fritz, who is the president of DF Seeds, who just joined the team actually in September of 2022. So excited to get Janna on this podcast and chance to ask her some questions and learn a little bit more about who Janna Fritz is and her background in Michigan Ag and all of those good things. So welcome, Janna.
Thanks, Colin. Glad to be here. It's different being on this side. Those of you who have watched our podcast know usually I'm the interviewer, not the interviewee, but I'm on the other side of the microphone, as they say. But happy to be here and happy to give you a little insight on myself as the newest member of the DF Seeds team. So.
Great. We've seen you ask questions. We have lots of questions ourselves. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us a little bit about your background and agriculture background in the industry, and we'll jump off from there.
Absolutely. So it's definitely not as long of a history as our founder of DF Seeds, John Deal, which, some of you, again, if you're avid watchers of our podcast, know John's esteemed history and development in agriculture and with DF Seeds. But I actually did not grow up in agriculture. I rode horses as a kid. So my agricultural exposure early on was really just through the equine industry. I'm originally from the suburbs of Chicago. So I grew up in an area about as different as I could possibly be from the area in which I live now. It was suburban, obviously connected to urban Chicago, and definitely not rural, not a farm, not where I live now. So it's quite a change in my life over the last 20 plus years. But I did go to Michigan State University and got a degree in agriculture and natural resources communications. So my first real agricultural exposure to, the greater industry that is seed and feed and everything having to do with feeding the world came from Michigan State. And then friends of friends actually introduced me to my husband now, who is a fifth generation farmer. And that's what brings me now to Bad Axe, Michigan, where we live and operate a 1,500 acre farm. We have soybeans, corn, dry edible beans like black beans and navy beans, and wheat on the operation. As I said, he's fifth generation. And his father farmed, his grandfather farmed. We've had this operation in the Fritz family for obviously a number. We do have a centennial farm here in Michigan, so over 100 years, and had some hogs at one point in time, but now we're just now we're just a row crop operation. And love being in this industry. So as I gave my history of not growing up in agriculture, I would never change where I'm at today for anything. So happy to raise our two sons here in a rural community. One son is 17, Wesley, and my other son is Zachary. He's 13. And just absolutely love every day that we can commit to the agriculture industry. But my background, as I said, was not in ag. Every day's been an educational opportunity ever since I found this industry.
There we go. Well, that's great. Definitely the mean streets of Chicago to Bad Axe, Michigan is a road well traveled, I'm sure. So yes. Well,
I forged the path, Colin. No one's done that before.
No one went before you, and not many coming after. But we're greatly appreciative of where you're at today, for sure. So you and I started talking about this opportunity with DF quite some time ago. What drew you to the role? What said, hey, I want to become the president of DF Seeds?
Yeah. So, immediately prior to this position, I was working with the Michigan Soybean Committee and the Michigan Soybean Association, two organizations in one office, really with the centralized mission of advancing soybean farmers in the state of Michigan. Two different ways of doing it, right? One is the checkoff, one is the Grower Association, where we work on policy. But at its core was the advancement of the soybean industry. And we particularly worked on market development. So alternative soybean markets for non-GMO, identity preserved, organic, high oleic, right? All of these different varieties of soybeans that go to some smaller but very critical markets, both domestically and internationally. And that exposure, that experience at Michigan Soybean really forged my thought process of offering Michigan farmers as many opportunities to differentiate themselves in this soybean agricultural marketplace. And our state, quite honestly, is very suited to do so. We've got, smaller receiving elevators, we've got smaller parcels, farmers, we've got a unique microclimate in various areas of the state that enable for different crops, right? The state of Michigan is the second most diverse agriculturally. From a commodity standpoint, we have the second most diverse commodities, second only to California. And because of that, we think a little bit differently than some of the, mainstay agricultural states, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, et cetera. All of that, though, led to my thought that differentiating and really honing in on the Michigan farmer opportunity is where I wanted to spend my future career path. That's what DF Seeds brings to the Michigan farmer. And that's what particularly drew me to this position was a very strong history in our brand, right? John Deal, again, in 1970s, 60s, 70s, 80s, he developed this brand and always was incredibly passionate about soybeans. So we have some very strong roots in Michigan. And we have this tremendous opportunity, again, to differentiate ourselves as a brand, different from some of the major national seed suppliers. So we can really do what's right by a Michigan farmer from a change, an alternative market to commodities or products that are specifically suited just for this geography. All of those things really came together under the heading of DF Seeds that appealed to me because it meant Michigan and it meant new opportunity for Michigan farmers and agriculture as a whole.
Great. No, certainly we are excited to have you there. Your experience in Michigan Ag, your commitment to farmers was something for me that was really important to see. Talk a little bit about, so you've been there a few months now, so what, 7 months, I guess, you've had under your belt, and meeting the customers.
It's like yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Meeting the people, meeting our seed dealers and retailers. What are some of those key priorities for DF Seeds as you look ahead, right? As you kind of look to the future?
Absolutely. So I would say I've really been focused on two aspects of the business. One is retaining quality. This business was built on a processing and a quality procedures, ensuring the product is of the highest quality possible due to every effort that we make from a genetic standpoint to an agronomy testing to a processing in our facility and bagging and getting it out to the customer. So absolutely some of the highest quality products that a farmer could receive on their farm to plant. So retaining that quality, but then enabling more points of sale and further growth of our sales. I've come across a number of dealers, customers, even prospective dealers and customers who know that they've heard the DF Seeds name. They know that there is a longstanding history in Michigan, but that's about all they know. There's not a whole lot of recognition about all of the commodities that we offer. We're based, again, from a history perspective in the soybean industry, but having product offerings in corn, alfalfa, and wheat, in addition to soybeans, and soybeans also from a non-GMO and an enlist perspective, we've got both offerings. Those things are what we're just needing to tell our story to more people. We need to have the boots on the ground from a dealer force and from our internal sales folks with our DSM team to share the opportunity that Michigan farmers have with DF. And that growth is the most critical aspect of the business that we need to do at this point. But it just, because I started then with the quality, it's not at the sacrifice of quality, right? We want to retain what we've built and then grow and build on top of that. offering that differentiation and that tremendous opportunity for high quality products tailored to the state of Michigan with alternative opportunities for profitability for Michigan farmers.
Awesome. So I just want to, and I think that's really good. I would agree entirely with what you just said. And I think, the business has got a really bright future ahead as we kind of look at those as our key priorities. Switching gears.
With some roots, right?
Yeah.
I said that too, Colin. We're a startup with some strong roots, and there's nothing better, in my opinion, right? We have the opportunity to be flexible in our growth, to grow with our dealers, to grow with our customers. But we have a very long-standing history that means something to farmers in the state.
Great. I want to shift gears just slightly, ever so slightly now, and just, one of the things that I think people sometimes forget is that you're running a seed business, but you're also leading a team. You're leading some people. You're leading, you're the face of DF Seeds in Michigan. How do you and I have talked about servant leadership a little bit in the past.
Yes.
Servant leadership is is for those who don't know on this listening, is the act of being a leader and being there right at the front lines, right? And right alongside of those, the people that you work with each and every day. Talk to us a little bit about your mentality of servant leadership and how you're applying it as you've come over to DF Seeds.
Yeah. So in every career position that I've worked in any volunteer capacity, I'm a huge believer in collaborations and cooperations, right? All of those Asian words, but that really come and bring people together. And to me, servant leadership is offering a path forward in the fact of a vision of a leader and an opportunity to move individuals as well as the collective forward to a common goal, but supporting them all in whatever path is that it takes to get them there. Again, as a whole, right? We're going to have a little bit different path down towards success that comes from our team in the warehouse. We're going to have a little bit different path to success from our DSM team and our agronomy team. And my goal, though, as the leader and president of DF Seeds, is to support them in whatever path gets us to the goal of growth, retaining high quality products, right? It's a pretty simple mentality of saying, we're all moving forward. Let's take this train, move it forward, everybody on board, but we're all going to support one another from the warehouse to the agronomy team, to the DSM team, to the dealer force, and then out to the farmer. All of it stacks on top of one another. All of it is supported by others. And as long as we're continuing to be supportive and stay aligned toward the common goal, that's been my leadership style for a number of years now, is supporting, encouraging, being right there with them. To speak to being right there with them, as I referenced, I am a farmer. We have a farm. We're going through some of the same challenges year in and year out of drought or flood or heat at the wrong time, right? Whatever Mother Nature throws, it is something where I'm right there with the farmer. And that to me also speaks from servant leadership in identifying and empathizing with what's happening on the farm. I've been, my history, of course, I didn't go through all of my resume, but working in seed, selling seed directly as part of my career path. So as far as the agronomy team and the DSM team, I've been right in their shoes, right? I can talk about the challenges of farmer customer complaints, agronomy failures, any number of challenges that can be incurred, but hopefully I can then offer some insight to them and encouragement of ways that we can overcome those challenges and continue down that path toward success in the future.
Excellent. On behalf of Legacy Agripartners, I'm super glad you're part of our team and really excited for the future DF Seeds with you leading the group. So
thank you.